It's the third time I'm doing this recording, so let's hope this time it goes through. Okay, so I'm gonna open my MySQL workbench. This will log me in automatically because I saved my password, but I want to show you how you create a connection. Click on the connection sign here, plus sign. Add a name, let's make it Lab2, basic DDL. Username is root, that's you leave it if you left it as it is. You could store the password if you want. I will click OK because my password is stored. I didn't ask for my, I did actually. Root, I'm hoping. Okay, so this page will be opened up. Here you have the administration and we click on the schema right here to see what's happening. Now, basically the way this works is that there is a space on the server where you create databases, you decide which database to use in order to create and save your tables into. You create your tables, you insert the data, and then you do the basic operation of displaying some of the data, updating some of the data, or deleting some of the data. That's basically this week's lab. So what is it like we're creating a database? Is database, you can resemble it to having a sheet. So you have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. Here we click plus, it came. Here we need to say create database, and we give it a name. Win 2025 for winter, and a lab 2. Okay? Basically what happens is we can create, or we could have multiple databases. So lab2 test, right? How do you see those databases? If you come here and click on that refresh sign, you can see them here. Now, what we need to do next, so this is like having sheet 1, sheet 2, right? You need to come here and decide which sheet you want to use, right? So that's why we come here and say use this database. Okay? And we click on the run sign. If we refresh, you see that this one got highlighted. If you notice, it became bold, and this is not bold. That means whatever I'm going to create, it's going to happen in this database now, not in this one. Okay, the first thing we do is, for example, if I am on Excel, is to decide the name of my column, the headers, right? So I would say SID, SName, S gender, S age, S GPA, year of birth only. And let's do something. Let's have email, for example. Okay. So we have our column name here. What we need to do here is we have a syntax called create table. Okay. And then we give it a table name, right? Open close parentheses. This is the syntax. I'm going to comment it. We don't need to run this. So here you would have column name or attribute name, data type, and constraints. Okay, comma, column 2, data type, and constraints, if there is any constraint. It doesn't matter, leave it for now. And you can add constraints separately. Constraints, for example, a constraint name, constraint type, and column name. Okay, let's go through this one by one. So first, create students, give you a table of students, open parentheses, close parentheses, and semicolon. We put the name of our column or attributes, right? Anything you do with databases, keep in mind to do it one step at a time and not get confused, okay? The first thing we do, we decide on the data type because that's a must. This is optional, okay? The data type of each column. So what data types do we have? Let's come here and have a look. So we have string-related data types depending on the size of the string. We have numerical data type depending on whether we want just a single number, a float, or we want to specify the digital points or the precision. We have the temporal, we have date, time, date, and year. Then we have Boolean. Enumeration and set enumeration is a data type where you can list a set of values that could be chosen. One of those could be chosen as the value of the attribute. Okay, so if we have enum a list of cities, I cannot come here and insert something for Fujairah, for example. Set is very similar to enum. The only difference is when an attribute is of type enum, it can have a single value. If an attribute is of type set, it can be any of those values, and it's like a set of values. Okay. So we don't use those. Enum we use it, but not really set. So this one we can say char or car, whichever you wanna, however you wanna pronounce it. 100. And if you notice, I'm not doing anything, right? I'm just adding the data type for now. Gender, let's make it jar1 for male, female. Age, we make it integer. GPA, we could make it float, yeah, or we can make it decimal and say 42. 42 means there will be 4 digits, out of which 2 of those are precision point. So basically, if I do 42, it means I could never say 123.4 because I already mentioned that I need 2 of my digits for my precision, so I could not use a 3 number here, yeah? So keep that in mind. And then year of birth, we're gonna give it a year. Email, I'm gonna make that are 100 as well. Okay, the second thing we need to keep in mind is columns are separated by commas. Okay, so I'm going to put a comma at the end of each. Keep in mind the last one doesn't have a comma. Okay, the last one, whether the last line doesn't have a comma. Now, going back to the constraint here, what type of constraints do we have? We can have a primary key. Primary key and unique key, if you remember from last lab, are the candidate keys. We choose one of the candidate key to be a primary key and we choose the rest of them to be unique, okay? Which one do we choose as a primary key is the one that could potentially utilize the least memory. For example, if you have a combined key versus a single attribute key, you choose a single attribute key. If a key is, if an attribute is integer and another attribute is a string, it's better to choose the integer one for the primary key, okay? Again, those are performance issues that is not relevant to this lab or this course, okay? So you choose one of the candidate keys as primary key, preferably the one with the least number of attributes, and the rest becomes unique. We have null and not null. By default, null is allowed. So if you don't want an attribute to be left empty, you want to always have a value for it, you use not null. If there are chances that people may not insert a value for certain attribute, but there is a default value, for example, if there is a product and by default, you want all the product to be 50 dirham, you put 50 there, and whenever I insert a product and I forgot to insert the price, it will be set to 50 dirham. Not the perfect example, just to show you. All right. Now here, what constraint can we put? We can say primary, sorry, it doesn't have to be caps, primary key. We can do it here, or we could do a better practice, especially this is gonna be helpful for the next lab, is to come here and say constraint. What's the constraint name? SID PK means the SID primary key constraint. That's the name of the constraint. What is the constraint type? It's primary key. For which column is this? We want to apply it to which column? We want to apply it to SID. Okay. Do we have another constraint? Maybe SName. We don't want this to be null, not null. Gender can be null, age can be null, GPA can be null. Yeah, all right. I remember I added in the previous one something called let's just call it wage, just for the purpose of demonstration. Okay. Then we could have constraint. For example, email was a candidate key. So we say constraint email is CK. It's unique. And we put the column here. Okay. Maybe we want to set a default for a year. So if I don't have a year of birth, by default, this should be, let's say, I don't know, 2024. Okay. Or maybe that's too early, 20, maybe 2015. Okay. This is a student table. So let's go to 2010. That would make the person 20. I will do. Okay. Now, what about enum? So enum is a set of values that we can choose from, right? In that case, let's add a new one called city and say enum. We can be in Dubai or in Abu Dhabi. Okay. We just accept a student from these two cities. I'm sorry if you don't live there. Okay. Now this is good to go. If I run this, I should not get an error, and I did not get an error. Now what happened? Where did this get created? We refresh here, and we see under the table, it got activated. If I go, I see my students. All right. If you want to see a list of databases, you can say show database. I believe so. Let's just run databases, maybe. Don't remember. So it's list all the databases. You see them. If you forgot what your database like the columns, you can say describe the name of your database. Let's put this one there. And we will get describe. Why is it showing me an error? It's okay. That should do it. Describe table, maybe. Okay, don't remember. The syntax will come back to this. That's fine. All right, leave it. Here we go. All right. Now the next thing we do is to insert our data. For example, 1, 2, 3, asthma, female. So we in Excel we do this 20 GPA. Of course, I'm a top-notch student. Year of birth, I was born in Well, this doesn't go along. I mean, we're just gonna enter random numbers for now. Email is a.b.com. Okay, it doesn't matter. What we do here, we can do it in 3 different ways. One way is to say, insert into the table name, values, and then list all the values for all the columns one by one. Okay, you cannot leave any of it empty, even if it says it could be null, because this could be nulls. You could just leave them empty, right? But if you just use values without mentioning the columns, then you need to add value for each single data. So 1, 2, 3, asthma, female. I'm just gonna quickly enter a few things. I'm 20, 20, wages 200. So here, year of birth, potentially I could not enter a value because by default it's 2005, but since I don't mention the columns, I have to enter a value. So 2000, city is, it has to be exactly like that. I misspelled it. So why do I have this? And email is a.com. We forgot this one here. Okay. I believe this should work. Did not work. Could not match. What did we miss? ID, name, gender, age. We forgot the GPA. GPA 8.5. Okay, now it worked. Now, if we want to specifically mention which columns we want to insert, we can mention the columns one by one. SID, it's a primary key. I cannot leave it empty. S name and S gender, S age. I'm gonna leave everything city maybe, and I don't want the email. Okay, now here I have the choice of just entering those and leave the rest empty. Okay, so this ID 122, name is Ali, gender is male, age is 25, and city is doesn't matter. Let's just go back to Dubai for now. Okay, done. Now I could insert a couple of data all at the same time. I'm just gonna copy this one and change them. Insert values, this is one. I'm gonna separate them by comma, each set of values. Okay, and one more maybe. The last one doesn't have it. I keep, of course, I need to change 111, 121, 124, 125, 126. Leila, let's make this Farhad male, so we don't, Bilal male. We do Asma again and Farhad again. Okay. Now what else we do, I'm not worried about this. I'm just gonna randomly put some of those as Abu Dhabi. See, I'm gonna change this randomly 2010, 25, maybe 2000, maybe 1995. And here is, I believe that doesn't matter. Wage is 200, 150, 200, and 100. Age, let's go to 19 for a couple of those. And maybe that was the wage. 22, 22, 23, and 20, that's fine. And GPA, let's just 3.3, 2.5, 4.25. I believe we're good to go. Hopefully this will run without an error. It did not. Let's see what we missed. Oh, the email should be unique, of course. B C D F. Let's see. Give me more errors. I'm just gonna clear this. So if we get an error, okay, it worked. Fantastic. Now, how do I see my data? Okay, the syntax is simple. We're gonna start one by one, okay? If you wanna see everything, you say, sorry, if you wanna see something, you say select column names separated by comma from table name. So let's keep it simple, okay? What do we mean? Let's say I want to see only the age and the student ID, okay? Then I would say, let's say only the student ID. Select STU, I think I call it SID, from students, from table name. So run, I get all the SIDs. If I want to see more than one column, I just separate them by comma. So show me SID, age, and year of birth. I think I just called it year of birth. That shows I'm tired a little bit. Okay, that's done. What if I want to see all the columns? Then I use asterisk. Select a star. Instead of naming them one by one, asterisk means all of it from students. Okay, there we go. We can see everything. Okay. Columns can be calculated on the go. So we can say create column using math operations. Okay, you can use string concatenation, but at this point we just want to keep it simple. So here, if we go through this, we have some mathematical or arithmetic operation, this one, okay? So we're gonna do arithmetic operation for now. So what we can do, we can say select SID, and then we're gonna say SH and SH plus 2. Okay, if what happens if we add 2 to everyone, or we want to say wage multiply by 2, yeah, from students. Let's run that. You see it's age and wage. Now this column name doesn't look nice. What we could do is we can customize the column name and give it an alias SID as ID. Then we say SH as age plus 2, as I don't know, test from students. Okay, here we go. So we renamed all the columns. Okay, we could create column on the go, because this new columns are not in my table, it's just in my display. Okay, create column on the go using aggregate functions. What are the aggregate functions? Let's go back to our, here we have count, sum, min, average. I'm going to put them all in one. So select, I'm going to use some of them, maybe max age, max age, min GPA, list. We can actually, if you want to separate it by a space, list GPA, lowest GPA. And then you can say count, SID, num students, and what else do you want to do? Let's keep it like that, maybe average. Let's keep it like that for now. From students. Okay, so let's run this. And we say max age is this, lowest GPA is this, lowest okay, that's a mistake in the data entry. Okay, how do we control this kind of mistakes? It's for the next lab. It's about putting constraints on the values that we can give beside the enum. We can use check a statement. Okay, but for now, let's not worry about it. Yeah, my bad. It's okay. We will do an updated statement later. So these are the basic statement on the columns. Now let's filter the rows. Okay, so let's expand. Well, actually, before we do that, yeah, let's expand, because we could actually do it without. Yeah, let's just let's not put the conditions yet. So now, if you do select a star from students, you can see that hi, students, you can see that nothing is sorted, right? So let's say if I want to sort, actually, I'm going to change this. Okay, so SH, it's just the other way around. So the H is GPA, the GPA is the age. It's bad. I could, yeah, it's okay. We just know that they are swapped for some reason. Let's say I want to get them like the year of birth sorted. I want to see 1995 first and then the rest, okay? If you want to do sorting, you use order by, okay? Column name space order type. And if more than one column, separate by comma. Okay, what do we mean by that? So I'm going to copy this because you all know how to do this now. I'm going to do SID and year of birth and wage. Okay, from students, and then order by, which column I wanted to order by is year of birth, year of birth. If I don't put anything, by default is ascending, okay? So even if I don't put ascending, you see if I remove this, will still give me the same thing, okay? But I'll put it so you know it, okay? Now it's sorting it by the year. See, this is not a good example. My first video had a better example. Actually, let's do it by wage first. I think that would make it work better. So for this 3, where I have 200, I have 2 different years. So I want to sort it by the years as well, or here, okay? I want the oldest ones to be on top. So what we do is we say now sorted by years of birth, and this time I want it to be descending, okay? So if I do this, you can see here 2022 became first, and then this one, okay? Same here, right? So this is the order by statement. Okay, now what else we can do? I'm gonna do separate ones. Let's not worry about the order by now. We can put conditions. Where conditions? What are conditions? So let's say you are in Python and I tell you, and you have a variable called var, which has a value of 90. And I tell you print it if this is, if var is greater equal to 80. So you say if var equal 90, right? So this is if, and this is the condition, right? And if you have another one, let's say var2 is asthma, you could come here and say or var2 equal high, in which case this is false, right? Now it's the same concept, the same logic and everything. Instead of saying if, we're saying where, okay? So no difference, same thing. So I'm gonna copy this, bring it here. I'm gonna say select a star just to keep it simple for now. From table name is a student. Is it with S, without S? I don't remember. Students. Instead of if, I have where. The conditions are like this. Conditions consist of column name, operator, value. Okay, we try different operators. Operators are like this ones. Look here. The operators could be between, greater, less than, equal, and, or, sorry, these are the condition, this is the logical operators. These are the operators for conditions, okay? And then we combine them with and, or, is null, and so forth, okay? So where, for example, let's say I want to see everything for everyone where is gender is female, okay? One condition only. So let's run that. So we see all the females. And then I say or its wage is greater than 100. Let's see that now. That should be it. We don't have anybody like that. I want to see more stuff. Okay, so now you see there is a male whose wage is less than 100. Let's go back to the original, which is select a star from students. And let's say I want to see everything except where email is null. Yeah, so I can say where email is null. So I know which students they don't have email. If I don't want to see the nulls, I say not null, as easy as that, okay? And then I would say email is not null, and let's say SGPA between 20 and 22. So between takes a range, okay? So we see only that. Or I will show you something actually, which is interesting, is that the or and is combined like arithmetic function, okay? First the and gets done, then the or. So if you want first to get all your ors, then you have to put them in parentheses. But I don't want to make things complicated for now. Let's keep it simple. So it's not null. If you want to say it's not equal, let's do another one. Select star from students where is name not equal asthma. I think we had two asthmas, right? So what happened? Okay, I think I run the other one again. So we see everyone except asthma. Okay, so that's not equal. We did not null and or equal not equal between arithmetic. I will leave that to you. Okay, you can mix and match now. You could say select a specific column, name is age and wage from students where is gender equal, well, let's not do the gender, where is name not equal Ali, and SGPA greater than 20. We're gonna get rid of that. And then we say order by wage descending. So now we have everything together. Okay. Let's see if we're missing on something. Max, mean, arithmetic, logical. Do we have a string? We don't have a string, right? Very good. All right. Now let's do an update. But before we do an update or delete, we need to enable editing of the data by setting this. So I'm gonna remove this. It's just an example, right? So we enable editing. Now the formula for update is update table name set column name 1 equal value 1, comma. Okay, remember column name 2 equal value 2, comma, and so on. Where condition. Okay, and remember the format of the condition remains the same, which is column name equal operator. So your condition is column operator, where is it? Column operator value, column name operator value, okay? Like column name operator value, okay? So we come here and say update students set which column, it doesn't matter, wage what did we call it, wage or is wage? Wage equal to wage plus 10. If I don't put a condition, it will do this for all the rows. If I don't want to do it for all the rows, it's like having an if condition where wage is less than 100. Okay, so let's add 10 to all of those. And now let's say, make sure it happens, select wage from students. And we should not see 50. 50 was changed to 60. Okay? And if you want to do more than 2 columns, I'm going to do the same thing here. And if I want to set more than 2 columns, I say wage grade plus 10. And where this is, let's make it less than 150 now. And comma, age equal age times 2. I don't know why we're doing that, but let's just make everyone older. S-age, S-age and S-age. That should work. Doesn't want to work. Wage, of course. I don't know why I did that. Less than. Less than. Now this should work. All right, so if I select star, I should see my wages changed. You see that? And the age became 25 for this guy. And everyone has changed actually, 8, yeah, and so forth. What else we can do? We can do delete. The format is delete from table name where conditions. Okay, the format of condition remains the same, which is column name operator, column name operator value. So delete from students where s name equal Asma. So if I want to delete Asma or Ali, how do I do that? You do not say s name Asma Ali, right? You do not separate them by comma. For each column, you have to mention, for each value, you have to mention the column name, s name equal, and then you put the operator or. Now in next week, we will learn how to use list like n, not n, any, all. But for now, if you have 2 different values to be checked against a column, you always need to follow column name, operator value. If you have more than 1 condition, you need to use the logical operators to combine them, okay? Now to make sure data is deleted, let's say select count distinct this name. Let's see how many, select count s name. Actually will do, I don't need distinct. Select, okay. So select count, oh my God. From students, okay. It's my bedtime. Then here, delete from a student, where does this? Let's do the delete and go ahead with it. The delete happened. This should give me 4, right? So we did the delete. Let's see if there is anything else. Where condition. That's pretty much it for this lab. I hope this video is helpful, and I hope you watch it before you come to the class. or it will help you maybe when you do your study for the quizzes or the lab test or the finals. Okay, best of luck. I'll see you all next week for my students. Yeah, for the rest, I won't see you, but good luck.